My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Aquaman. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But is Aquaman the greatest movie ever made? Maybe, yes. But is Aquaman the worst movie ever made? Also, yes. Like, this is a lot of movie. It is absurd. It is ridiculous. It is goofy. It is out there. And I love that about this movie. They didn't have to go this hard for Aquaman, and I'm glad they did. And not everything about this movie works for me, but I just really appreciated that they made Aquaman into this underwater epic like Flash Gordon under the sea. So let's get talking about it. First with the cast. And Jason Momoa does a very good job here. I think he has enough personality and charisma to carry this movie to the extent he needed to. And you've also got Amber Heard, who is pretty flat in lots of this movie. She does come alive a bit more in the second half, but I feel like she could have done better, and their relationship is serviceable. It's not the highlight, but there are some nice moments here and there. Patrick Wilson, I love how over the top he plays this character. He knows exactly what kind of movie this is and leans into it. When I first saw it, I used to criticize his one line of, "I'm the ocean master." And now I love that line and how he says it. It's just perfect for this movie. Willem Dafoe, I wish was used a bit more, but he's still perfectly fine for the time he's in this movie. Lahu Abdul-Mateen is another very over-the-top performance, and once again, it works for this kind of movie. Nicole Kidman is legitimately great here. I think, like, the short time she's in this movie, she really impressed me, and I also like Timothée Morrison. I think he's very good in this movie as well. So the cast, for the most part, does a very good job, and the script is a mess. But sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. Like, I love how this movie is constantly switching genres. Like, it's an underwater epic, but it's also a melodramatic romance, but it's also a horror movie for a very little bit, but it's also an adventure movie, and it's also an action movie. It's just got a little bit of everything, and I love the pure ambition of it. But I do wish the characters and the conflict were better written. Like when Arthur and Orm fight, I'm entertained, but I don't feel anything. And I really wish they built that rivalry, built the conflict between them a bit better. I also wish with all the conflict between the undersea people and the land people, I wish that was better handled as well. It kind of felt like an afterthought in this movie when it's meant to be the main threat. So the script is a little messy in a good way and in a bad way. But what really saves this movie is the direction by James Wan. And if you know me, you know James Wan is a top 3 director of all time. If I ever became someone who directed movies, I'd want to be someone like James Wan, someone who makes these terrifying and goofy horror movies, and then when he moves into the big blockbusters, he still keeps his own sensibilities, and I just think he really does a great job with this movie. He embraces the over-the-top absurdity every possible chance, and like I said, it's like an underwater Flash Gordon movie, and I love that. And there are just so many decisions made. Like the scene when Arthur and Orm are about to fight, they've got the pros and cons list for each one, and that made me laugh. You've got an octopus playing drums, and that's just glorious to behold. You've got Amber Heard in a jellyfish dress. That's I thought that was just an interesting choice. There's one scene at the end where Arthur and Mira kiss, And it does this crazy grand sweeping camera pan with all this chaos in the background, and I'm just like, I love this. Like, this is just fantastic. And it just shows you how much my taste has changed because when I first saw this movie, a big criticism of mine was Pitbull's cover of Africa as they come out of the ocean. And now that is a high positive. Like, I just think it's absolutely hilarious. And I don't know, I'm just on this movie's wavelength. It's just so dumb, but it's fully aware of it and it's having fun with it. And you do get some legitimate great moments. Like the action fight scenes in this movie are incredible. I think this actually has the best action in any DC movie ever. Because they're so well shot, and James Wan always knows where to point the camera, and the constant movements of it just give it a very unique feel. They feel distinct to his sensibilities, and when the choreography is great, and just I really loved the action in this movie. Like, I just thought it was so well captured. I love the outfits of the Atlanteans. It kind of gave this movie a Power Rangers vibe, but in a very positive way. Even Black Manta's costumes, very goofy, but they know it. I thought the trench sequence is actually incredible. You know, they were supposed to make a trench movie, which just shows you how big of a mess DC was, but also I really want James Wan to do an underwater horror movie because this scene was great. I love the monsters. It kind of had a Lovecraftian feel to it, and that one shot of him and Mira jumping into the trench with the flare as there's like thousands of these creatures, it is downright a terrifying moment. Like, you just feel hopeless for the characters as they enter this endless, possibly hopeless abyss, and I just love that moment so much. And I actually do think this movie has some very nice shots. Like, the cinematography is, it's very inconsistent. You know what, let's just get to the CGI as well. The CGI is very inconsistent as well. Just addressing the elephant in the room, you know me, I love Avatar 2, and nothing in this movie looks a fraction as good as it does in Avatar 2. But it's also a very different movie, and in that, I think it works. When they enter Atlantis, I think lots of the visual effects there are very good, and I love how bright and colorful this movie is. It's not muted and gray and depressing. No, it's vibrant. It's filled with personality, and some of the visual effects are really impressive, and some of the cinematography is very impressive. Now, that said, some of the cinematography is way too overly lit, and it makes the characters look awkward, and it also makes the green screen apparent. Like, there are just some scenes of characters underwater, and they just never look right. They feel off. They don't feel a part of the environment, and it's kind of distracting from time to time. So, visually, this movie is very hit or miss. I do also want to talk about the actual adventure element because it's only in the movie for a bit, but I legitimately love the bottle map thing and how he has to learn where to place it. It's kind of like if they did Rise of Skywalker correctly. But even then, no, Rise of Skywalker is just a mess. But no, this movie does a similar thing, but very well. And the parents' love story, like Nicole Kidman and Tamar Morrison, it's actually very sweet. The fact he goes out to the dog every day and he just hopes one day she'll be there. It's admirable, and I think their love story is legitimately sweet, and it got me in tears by the end. Now, if I go back to the negatives of this movie, the comedy doesn't really land for me, like the one-liners and the jokes being made. I laugh when the movies got, this giant crab monster attacking all these people as sharks are eating other people, and it's just so over the top, and that makes me laugh. But the actual lines like, you could have just peed on it, never work for me. I also thought the musical score by Rupert Gregson-Williams was very underwhelming. There are moments like when they enter Atlantis that could have had a sense of awe and wonder, but I just found his music fell flat. I do like the end credit song though, Everything I Need by Skylar Grey. That's a good note to end the movie on, but yeah, like Aquaman, I know some people hate it and I get it. But I'm in the camp of, well, I really like this movie. It's just so much movie and it's just so over the top and ridiculous and absurd and goofy, and it's fully aware of it and leans into it in the best possible way. I think the movie is incredibly well directed by James Wan, who has some incredible scene transitions in this movie. I like how the camera moves in certain moments. I love how when the camera crashes into the ocean and we get introduced to Atlantis that way, he just adds a few moments here and there that really do elevate this movie. The trench sequence is great. I think the cast for the most part does a great job. It's filled with some of the best action really in maybe any superhero movie. And yeah, like I just love the absurdity, the over the top nature, and just how much fun this movie is. So I'll give Aquaman a 7 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Aquaman? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin